This podcast is produced and managed by Kangaroo Fern Media Lab, Australia's independent video and podcast company. We do the podcasting hard bits so you don't have to. We make podcasts easy. Book a call at www.kangaroofern.com. www.kangaroofern.com.
You might have heard of this before, and maybe at one time or another, you believe that it is the best piece of advice you've ever received. Fake it till you make it. That's what we're going to talk about today, so listen on, pod friends. You are listening to episode 22 of Wellness Friday with Coach Joy Karen.
Let's talk well-being and mental health. Whether you're an aspiring coach, content creator, or podcaster, you need to take care of yourself as well. Wellness Friday with Coach Joy Karen.
Hey pod friends, it's me, Joy Karen, your creativity coach. Wellness Friday is a weekly show created for podcasters and content creators. This show aims to talk about creativity, inspiration, overall well-being so you can keep on doing what you love most. I would like to thank my podcast management group, Mika of Kangaroo Fern Media Lab, and your amazing team for this platform and for the opportunity to spread the spark of creativity all over. So more and more people can do what they love most as they #sparkle within. You might have heard of this before, and maybe at one time or another, you believe that this is the best piece of advice you've ever received. Fake it till you make it. I used to believe it as well. I was young, naive, and hungry for attention, hungry for validation. So it was very easy for me to get fooled and to fall blindly by following this advice. Back then, I thought it was what the people I looked up to did. I thought that they really faked it until they made it. But I was so wrong. This path led me to a long and winding road of self-doubt, and I set myself up to feel such doubt on myself that it blinded me to see my own true worth. I was a young events host, and naturally, you look up to people who mentor you in this field that you're trying to get into. So being very inquisitive and eager to really learn from the best, I approached one of the seasoned events hosts during a workshop. And I asked her how she made it to be one of the sought-after female hosts. She proudly said, "Fake it until you make it." Then she went on and shared her story. Back then, naive as I was, I held on to what she said. For me, as a budding events host trying to get my name out there, faking it till I made it might be the best move that I have. Because if she did it, maybe it's the right path for me to take. Maybe it's the path that would take me to where she is. Of course, it was not. But looking back, I'm very grateful that I learned this lesson the hard way. Because I get to share it with you, pod friends. When you're just starting out or doing something new for the very first time, naturally you won't have such a high level of confidence in what you're doing. So whether it is hosting a podcast, taking in your first client, or having a new job, self-doubt is surely one of the things you'll feel. It is like checking on a new path. The combination of jitters, excitement, fear of the unknown, and a lot more emotions come into play. So you'll mostly and likely ask yourself, will these feelings of self-doubt or fear of the possibility of messing up ever fade? Honestly, you'll doubt yourself every step of the way. You'll doubt your own skills and abilities, and you overanalyze and overthink about not meeting others' expectations and being found as someone who is not qualified to be in that position. Pod friends, these fears are real. But we forget that we are not the only ones feeling this. Most times in situations like these, we assume that we are the only ones feeling this sense of incompetence. So let me be the voice that reminds you, anyone who has ever been in this position of starting out something new has felt the same way. The mentors, the coaches, the leaders, the idols, every person you look up to didn't take on their role feeling all confident. They didn't have all the skills and abilities before taking on a new opportunity. They learned it along the way, building from what they already have, building from what they already know. Confidence and competence were not a given in the start, they got them along the way. So when people say this very confusing advice of faking it till you make it when you're starting out, you might sense that this means faking your confidence or faking your competence or faking your motivation. Those who share this advice will tell you that doing this, by faking it, you will get started. That once you're starting acting the part, once you start faking, your mind will automatically tune into this new attitude, tune into this new belief or this new behavior. Well, that may be true. But instead of building genuine confidence, your mind interprets that behavior, that attitude, that belief that you are truly a fake. Faking it.
We will be right back.
Are you passionate to help other podcasters? Wanted to connect to growth-minded podcasters and service providers? The Podcast Creators Society is now open for a new member. Head over to www.podcastcreatorsociety.com/community. Are you ready to finally start your own podcast? Maybe you already have one, but need a podcast manager to help you level up. We're here for either. Book a call at www.kangaroofern.com. www.kangaroofern.com.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Now, back to the show.
By posing or pretending to be confident and ignoring that nagging self-doubt in your head offers some temporary relief, a temporary ego boost from feelings of self-doubt. But, friends, once you're done putting on a show, once you're done doing the part, being inauthentic towards yourself poses a bigger problem than you ever imagined. It negatively impacts your perception about yourself. There's this coach named Alan Ibbotson who said that we should totally trash this phrase altogether. He said, it literally means you can't do it or be it, and you are pretending. For some, they are signing up to be a fake and a phony, a liar and a cheat, someone who isn't concerned with what others think, or even with being authentic in their success. They just want to get away with it, operating on the hope that eventually they'll make it. So, friends, when you try to cope with feelings of incompetence, inadequacy, or insecurity, intentionally choosing to think and behave in a way that is not true really reinforces that belief, that nagging thought that you really are a fake. So the sad thing about this is once faking it becomes your go-to strategy so you can cope with your insecurities, you take away the opportunity to truly learn and acknowledge your real skills and abilities, which you would probably be more effective and way more useful if you just choose to be authentic. So the next time you feel inadequate, I hope you remember to choose authenticity. On the next episode, let me share with you how you can manage moments of insecurities instead of simply faking it. That's it for today, pod friends, and I hope this episode sparked something authentic in you. If you'd like to listen more of Wellness Fridays with Coach Joy Karen, don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to connect, you can find me on Facebook. Just search Joy Karen, the Creativity Coach. This conversation continues on over at the Podcast Creator Society. The link is in the description. The Podcast Creator Society is a community of podcasters helping out podcasters in this wonderful world of sending our message across. You might not know who you would bump into, and you would have more friends in this wonderful world of podcasting. And if you would also like to join us, go ahead and join us at the Podcast Freelancers Hub, where you can be with other service providers who can help you make your podcast stand out. If you feel that this episode is worth sharing, please do so, because it will help us reach more podcasters and content creators who might be needing that spark of creativity, inspiration, and overall well-being. Again, thanks, friends, for listening, and I'll see you again next week. And before I go, let me remind you to keep on doing what you love most, because that is how you #sparkle within. Bye, friends!
Are you ready to finally start your own podcast? Maybe you already have one, but need a podcast manager to help you level up. We're here for either. Book a call at www.kangaroofern.com. www.kangaroofern.com.